completely random or a coordinated color placement. That has been my challenge, putting together these woven star blocks, which are part of the Woven Hearts quilt-along sponsored by Fat Quarter Shop. Stick around and I'll show you some options for color placement in a scrappy quilt. Here is the basic woven star pattern that I have drawn out in EQ8. They did not have it in the block library, so I did a quick sketch based on the papers from Fat Quarter Shop. And I want to play with the colors. So I know I have 4 purples. So let me just put in those 4 purples from the possibilities that the EQ color library gives me. So that's what we would have with a monochromatic purple version. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to my sketchbook. And then I have to save this file so it knows what's going on. Okay, so that version is in my sketchbook. And then the idea, I'm just trying to find a variety of things that I can use here. I could put the red star points that I had. I think I had 3 different red fabrics and an orange. So there you can see what it would look like if I planned a version of the block with just the purples and the other dark fabrics. But there are 3 different peaches, so I could use some of those peach tones to alternate in the block. You know, that gives me a little more scrappy feel to the block. But with 3, 3, and 4 color groups, it's hard to really get a random effect there. So let's look again at what a coordinated view would look like. I've got the purple coordinated there, the peach here. Let's make this a coordinated red, and then we can put the coordinated purple in on that side too. So that makes a fun coordinated version. If I were doing this block again in my own color palette, here, let me save that coordinated version so I can come back to it. You know, I'm all about blues, so I could do coordinated. I could use some of the darker blues for the star points and then use some lighter blues for the longer bits of the stars. So that's a scrappy version where you have 8 different fabrics around the block. So we will add that to our sketchbook. And we could do a coordinated version of this. So for a coordinated version, I want to take the fabric that I used in the star point and extend it on the next piece. So we will continue with our light and dark versions there. And that's what a coordinated woven star would look like. Now, you could go a step further, and I want to see what it would look like if I just used two fabrics. Let me make sure I'm selecting the same two. Whoops, that was the wrong one. We want the triangles there. It doesn't quite give you the same effect because you either lay the fabrics down next to each other. That's kind of interesting. I like that better than the previous version. But again, more colors work better. And I tend to like color families and not just totally random. Because like if I chose 8 random colors here, I'm just going through the fabric choices and picking, you know, one from each section of the color groups. And like that's a totally random star, and that's fun. But I tend to want to put a little more thought into my colors. So like my ideal would be if I had just 4 colors. I'm going to do opposite star points with opposite lights, and then I'll do long star points in a dark. So I've just got 4 fabrics, but the way I alternate them, I really like how that looks on the design. And one of the thoughts I had was if I did a light star, let's see what we can do here with, if we just had 2 colors there for the star, and then we did a dark background. Isn't that striking? That would be really pretty. So I love playing with the color options. And of course, if we didn't like the fabric selections here, if you like to sew with more solid colors, you can just switch your palette down here in the bottom left of the EQ version. And let's do another dark version of this star, but we'll do some, actually, I have to keep scrolling there till I find my yellows and oranges. What if we did like that pale peachy color, and then whoops, get that back to the light, and then this tangerine color, and then we need a dark, so we'll just go with their solid black. So there's a solid version of a bright star on a dark background. And then I can do the same thing if I've got a light background. I'll go through and change all those backgrounds first. And then for true blue quilts, we would do the blues. I'm going to keep weaving this color palette through and do a really dark one like that. Or maybe I need just a little more contrast in the block. So that is the woven star, and I am going to come back to my sketchbook, and if I've got all my variations here, I want to play with some of the planned versions of my purple, red, and peach fabrics from Laguna Sunrise, and I'm going to label my diagram, my paper foundation, using this plan so that I can make a few of my stars really coordinated and those will mix in. And that just makes it really fun for the recipient of the quilt to study the fabrics, and they'll say, oh, this block is matching, and oh, these are Scrappy's, but this fabric is the same in all the blocks. And it just keeps the viewer's eye moving across the quilt. So hope you're having fun with the Woven Hearts quilt along from Fat Quarter Shop. How are the blocks turning out with my collection of Laguna Sunrise fabrics? Well, you can see two versions here where I tried to coordinate the fabrics as best I could. You can see the purple carries through the orange, and I've kept the orange and the purple touching each other. In this version, I introduced the red, so that gave me a little more variation. It's still kind of coordinated, but I like more of the colors mixed in. In this version, I kept all of the smaller sections, the star points, with a darker color, the red and the orange. Again, I only have 3 reds and 4 purples, I think was the mix, and then 3 peaches to work with for a total of 10 colors and the white background. So it makes it a little bit hard to mix up when there's 8 fabrics in the star, but I'm having fun with it. And here are the ones that I have sewn together in rows already. And again, it's a pretty scrappy mix. I did get some of the fabrics coordinated, like with that stripe. Sometimes the same fabrics touch each other when you're doing a random selection. So we'll just let that go. I am liking the stars that have all the different fabrics in them. So I'll probably continue with that method just because I want to keep up with the sew along and get this quilt done in the next couple months. So I need to not overthink it and just grab the fabrics and go. Let me know how you approach a scrappy project. Are you excited by the thought of paper piecing? Take a look at this video next. I share my adventure with a Judy Niemeyer Quiltworks pattern.